Australia, a beautiful, sunny, spacious, green and full of beaches country. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, Oz. That connection somewhere, the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, it is undeniably a beautiful, beautiful country. But right now, Australia is having a battle, full stop, an ongoing perpetual battle that seems to be going on for years. It's certainly been going on since I moved here in 2011, which seems like a lifetime ago now, when it comes to bestowing equal rights upon people like me, people like most of my followers, who just happen to have been born gay. I truly believe that we're born gay, most of us, as kind of scientifically proven with the stretch mark on the X chromosome of gay men that match up. I'm married to my partner, and I have been. We got married in London, 2006, but it means jack shit here. And this is just boring. 7 years later, or probably more than 7 years now, again, it keeps getting pushed aside. When the ever so wannabe fascist Tony Abbott was here as Prime Minister, we were all happy, gay people like myself, when he was ousted back in 2015, I think it was, and Malcolm Turnbull took over. Because Malcolm Turnbull, like many of the other of the politicians here in Australia, he said, hell, I don't care. I will put that to a vote. You know, gay people should have their rights. They should have equal rights, marriage rights. But like most politicians, they speak a lot of bollocks and never speak the truth. So again, he's been shelving it and shelving it. Now it's gone to a vote. So basically, anyone who is a citizen here of Australia can vote, whether or not they agree with gay marriage rights. I cannot vote because I'm not a citizen. I'm only a permanent resident. But again, this is costing the government millions and millions and millions of dollars, because the people who fight it all the time, predominantly, not all, but predominantly, are the extremists, the religious sectors, the religious groups, the zealots, who have the money because there's a church on every corner wherever you go in Australia. And again, each and every one to their own, but why is it in such a beautiful first world country like this that this seems to be the only problem that really frustrates them, that really angers them, to the point where they piss money up the wall carelessly, when that could be going on to charities like Save the Children, or to charities in Africa where children are actually dying of famine and disease and starvation all over the world, or even here in Australia where children need some money because they've just been born because somebody can get more Centrelink. They don't put enough vigour or fight behind those sort of causes. All they do is concentrate, seemingly, so everyone here believes, on gay issues. Yeah. There's only 2% reportedly, allegedly, of openly gay people who vote, who are on the electoral register here, which was an excuse that I think Julia Gillard, prior to Tony Abbott, used, if my memory serves me right, to not push forward gay rights issues when she was reigning in Australia as Prime Minister, because she said, where are all the openly gay people that we're supposed to be fighting for? No one has actually put that down on the electoral register. And there's no wonder, because when you do your research and you investigate further and further, as I did for my film, Australia is still very much behind, 10, 20 years behind countries like the U.K. or the USA or other first world countries. And there's still a lot of dissension and negativity and homophobia that is really abundant and prevalent here in Australia. Even in Brisbane here, in the city that I live in, lovely city, it's up and coming, really avant-garde, cosmopolitan, and it's getting there, it's slowly getting there, but there's still only 2 gay bars here, there's still only 1 LGBTQI support group that I have gone to with people that I work with. And when you look at that and see just how unevolved the scene is, or any support network here, it's no wonder that teenagers and that young people coming out are so petrified. A horrible draconian government that presides over us at the moment. You know, everyone's too scared. So Malcolm Turnbull did make a promise, probably tentative, now we know, that he would put gay rights issues and marriage at the top of the agenda when he got in, but he didn't. So we're still here like 2-3 years later, and you know, they're just too scared to move forward because the powers that be, the people that provide the money, are all coming from these extremist groups that are so against us and condemn anything that we do. So look, the truth of the matter is that whoever is fundamental, and I'm not going to keep saying extreme religious groups because I don't want to offend other religious people that are kind-hearted and that actually realise that if God did exist, and I don't know whether he does because I'm agnostic, probably more of an atheist, but if he did exist, I don't think he would want people to be wasting their money, time and effort on fighting against love rather than providing children that are dying, people that are dying all over the world with an extra bit of cash. So I'm not going to keep saying religious groups, but in Australia a lot of the extremist groups are behind all the anti gay demonstrations and implementation of any rights that we deserve, that we as human beings have a right to. But at the end of the day, all they're doing, and this is my message to you guys that are hating for no reason, probably 9 out of 10 of you don't actually know a gay person, so you're just basing your hateful views on ancestors and what other people around you have indoctrinated into you. You're just delaying the inevitable, because whether it happens at the end of September when the vote has been announced, it's going to happen again in 2 months' time. It's going to be brought up again and again and again in Parliament until eventually we win, we get what's rightfully ours, our rights, our basic human rights. So my advice is to anyone out there who has never met a gay person, that has made their mind up to vote no or to be hateful towards gay people simply because they've been told to, because their father did or their mother did and their father did and so on and so forth down the family tree, I implore you to try and get to know one somehow. I have quite, over the past 2 years or so, I've been gaining some more Australian followers on my channels, and I love it because you know, I get to interact with people that are on my soil, and as much as I still love to keep in touch with people from England and America and people that watch my films there, but I do find after living here for 7 years I can generalise a little bit and say that Australians are probably somewhat more patriotic than Brits. But the truth of the matter is, and I think that most will agree rather than disagree, but I hope I don't offend anyone, I think most would agree that, come on, you know, TV here. When has there ever been a long-lasting gay character in one of the famous soap operas they have here? Very rarely do they show gay characters on TV here. Very rarely. Yes, it's slowly but surely happening. But lesbians, I think, get a better deal here than gay men. Whenever a commercial is put out to promote pro-marriage or pro-any right that we deserve, usually, predominantly, there are 2 women in the commercial and they'll have a little snippet of 2 men hugging or doing something like that. I still think that Australia has accepted lesbians much quicker than they have gay men, and here's my theory as to why that is. This country is still very much a man-dominated country. No matter what people say, yes, women are getting more and more rights, women are becoming more and more equal in many ways, okay, but it's still very much a male-dominated country, okay? So men love a lesbian fantasy, okay? And so the powers that be, in government especially, always, let's face it, the ruler of the roost is usually a man. And any other man that's in power around here would probably be, yeah, okay, that's alright, we can show 2 women doing that, yeah, because secretly they're going to go and have a wank over it. Unfortunately, and I'm kind of reluctant to admit this, but Tony Abbott has probably left somewhat of a fascist stench that is lingering, permeating throughout most of Australia. The younger ones are the ones that are like, yeah, you know, fucking be who you are, be individual, be what you were born to be. Because it's not a fashion statement. So many people think, here they go again, here the gays go again, fighting about their rights because it's fashionable now, because we haven't heard about it for the past few months, so here they come again. It's not about perpetuating fashion, it's about getting what's rightfully ours, and it still hasn't been given to us yet. And never mind talking about moisturising your face in this country, because if you do, you're going to get kicked in the nuts for being queer, alright? So I've seen it. I'm generalising, yeah, but I've seen it. I've been here enough to know that this is the general mindset of most men here. My general theory is that most men here are too shit scared to come out. And again, this is founded by the research that I have done for my film, okay? Because as soon as, if it was Julia Gillard or Tony Abbott wouldn't. Tony Abbott just said point blank, he's threatened by gays because he's a prick. But Julia Gillard did say that, if there were enough people, gay, open people on the electoral register, then I would push to a plebiscite or to a vote. I mean, there's even commercials right now that have been put on TV against gay marriage, with children in the commercials, using the children as their weapon, stating in the commercial that if we allow gay marriage, next we'll be allowing schools to teach our children gay sex education. Now, excuse me, I really do think that this country has evolved and advanced in many ways, but this is way gone. This is digressing. 75% of them don't care. 75% of them are so tired of this, they either have been for us having our equal rights from the beginning, or they've suddenly jumped on the wagon and now want to be for it because they're just so fed up of all these bigots, these far-right, conservative type of people that are constantly at the forefront of all the lobbying against anything that we should be entitled to by now in this day and age. Denying us our rights, our equal rights, even though I'm a taxpayer and I pay my taxes just as much as that heterosexual person who truly believes that we can't have what they have. I can take abuse. I've had it growing up all my life. Not so much the last 20 years or so, but I've experienced it, so I can take it. I'm strong enough now. But I just really feel for those young people that are still shit scared to come out and be who they really are. And as I said when I did my research for the Camping Out in Queensland film, the reason that we know and statistics show that many young teenage suicides, especially boys, predominantly boys, have killed themselves, they've left a note to their mothers or their fathers stating that they were terrified of growing up in a very archetypal macho world where men have to be men and women have to be women. And I've often said, I did this because I'm gay. And it's just so sad. It really is that in a first world beautiful country like this still happens, you know? And I know that there are other countries at the moment, 84 if statistics are correct, countries where being gay is illegal. 8 of those countries you can be killed for it, especially in the Middle East or certain parts of Africa. I know that. But the countries that have been supposedly leading the way for many, the first world countries, with ideas, with innovation, with technology, with capitalising, with liberalism, it's just sickening that Australia is still doing this, is still inadvertently, whether it's coming from the government, whether it's coming from some people, bestowing this hate. If you love that person, you've been with that person for a long time, or even if you've been with them for a year and you love that person, what right do other people have, especially the lobbyists, what right do they have to say that we can't have what you have? But we've got to get back now, Australia, you know? Because if we don't say yes to this, it's just going to go on and on and on until eventually we do get what's rightfully ours. Why are we not entitled, if we want to marry someone we love, why are we not allowed to do that? Because it's immorally wrong to you? But who are you to decide that? Really do some deep soul searching and ask yourself why. Why is it because what we do behind closed doors is putrid to you and makes you sick? Well, ask yourself why that is. You know? Really search as to why you have a problem with this. Just think about those poor young people that are born gay, and most of us are, to a certain degree. If not, ask most gay people, every gay person I know I've asked, did you feel gay tendencies when you were young? Yes. Save another life. Don't keep perpetuating this idea that men should be blokes and it's not right to be gay. Women should be women, demure, and it's not right to be gay. What does it matter to you, huh? We don't come knocking on your door, inflicting it on you, imposing you with it like you guys do on ours. We don't try and stop you from your rights, from being able to have what's rightfully yours. So why should you do that? Just not. If you consider yourself a decent, empathetic, compassionate human being, why are you doing this? Well, I just feel so sorry for those younger generations of gay people that are having to come out to a government that doesn't support them, to a predominantly religious society that doesn't support them because, according to them, God said you can't be gay. You know, feel for those young kids. How would you feel if it was one of your children that had come out of the closet or wanted to come out of the closet because they just can't hide or conceal what they are anymore? And some of you might say, I disown them. Some of you might say, it would never happen to my child because it's a life choice and I'll make sure they don't choose that life. Well, that's bollocks. That's shit, I'm telling you now. That if you're gay, you're gay. And there is nothing on this earth, no power on this earth, that will stop you from being who you are eventually. Whether this happens now or in the future, it's going to happen. So, I implore many of you out there that are against it to just reconsider why you're doing this. Because all it boils down to most people is hate. Hate is an ugly word. Hate is the cause of much war and violence. Vote yes. I would, if I could.